On GBNews, not only do you hear voices and opinions you wouldn't hear on other news channels, but we also break stories that won't be covered elsewhere too. That's why we can exclusively reveal some information today. In my almost 18 years in Parliament, one thing I've learned is that all the things you think couldn't possibly happen are almost certainly happening. And I think this is a perfect example of that. So over the last few months, I've submitted freedom of information requests to every prison in the country and asked them how many of their prisoners have keys to their own cells. Yes, that's right. How many prisoners have keys to their own cells? 45 out of the 123 prisons replied to my FOI request. That's probably a story in itself, why the others didn't. But that covered 28,238 prisoners. And I can tell you that of those, 13,109 prisoners have their own key to their cell. So based on those replies, we can exclusively reveal on GB News today that over 46% of UK prisoners have their own key to their cell, covering Category B, Category C, Category D prisons, as well as female prisons. And 15 of the prisoners which replied said they give every prisoner at their jail a key to their cell. Now, you might be forgiven for thinking it incredible that any prisoner has their own key to their cell. Seems to defeat the object of what prison's about, people might think, let alone almost half of all prisoners. And I just think that this will reinforce the view that many people hold, rightly I probably think, that the regime in our prisons is far too slack and lenient, with too much focus on the human rights of prisoners rather than on punishing prisoners for the crimes that they've committed. And in my view, people might have a different one, but in my view, handing keys to prisoners for their rooms makes it sound more like a hotel than a jail. And I just wonder whether jails will go the whole hog soon and introduce 24-hour room service for the prisoners as well. I just find this absolutely astounding that this can happen in our prisons.